you reset? Okay, how do you reset it?
I don't know if it's very simple. I would rather use the phone. Genuinely, to the stick.
Meeting past, every director. President-elect of Riverside. So, whoever is going to be elected tonight will have the pleasure and pain of working with me next year. And also have the pleasure, and I'm sure not pain, of working with Adam, who is going to be our new area director. Because this is, I mean, I did have an argument with someone like that, which was the best Toastmasters. But we can agree that this is the best area in Toastmasters, correct? Yeah. It's good, we agree on something. There has been some discussion about forums and why. There is this rule in Toastmasters that you have to have so many members here, so I thought I know a way to solve this and to get you all up in the mood for this. Something happened to me at the weekend. My team, my tiny little team, Chertsey Town, actually won the FA Vase at Wembley. Yeah, it was wow, because I've been waiting 20 years for it, so it was wow. But to any team to get a Wembley win is brilliant. So we're going to do some football chanting, I think. So, if you're a member of, if you're a member of Trojan, stand up. You're good. If you love Riverside Communicator, stand up.
What?
If you're the best public speaker in the world, stand up. Right, so we've got one. So, I hereby declare that we have a quorum. So, this is how I'm going to run things tonight. I have a list of roles and I have a list of people who are going to be nominated into those. I'll announce the role. I'll announce the person's. I'll ask the. Our next president, thank you. I'll announce the role. I'll ask the current holders of that role to explain about it. If they're not here, then I will explain about it. I'll then ask the nominated person, based on the role of the role. If that nominated person says yes, I will ask for a second. I'll then ask if there's anyone here who also wants to run for that role. If there is, then you both have the opportunity to make a 2-minute speech saying why you want to do that role or what you will do for the club. We'll then vote, and we'll have a new person in that role. Any questions? Anyone asleep? Good. So I will start the election then. And we start at the very beginning. That's a really good place to start. The first role is the role of the president. Now the president is numero uno, number one. The person who is going to run this wonderful organisation for a year. I'd like to ask the current president, Mr. David Horn, to explain the role.
So as the president, it's my role and responsibility and pleasure to lead this club, to coordinate everything, to engage with the members, to engage with the committee, and to set the overall direction for where the club's going to go. And having been the treasurer for a couple of years previously, I also made an executive decision that we were going to spend some money in this year just done. So we bought a new data projector and we now have a brand new video camera, although we don't have a little gizmo that screws it in, so please don't bump the tripod if you walk past it because it'll fall off. But these are minor issues. But no, it's my responsibility to lead the committee and be the public face of the club and represent the club at area and division and district levels.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I did wash my hands before I came in, just in case. Right. I have a nominated person for the role of president. That person is David Hall. Can I have a seconder this election? Cheryl, thank you. The next role on my list is the person who's actually in charge. The Vice President of Education, the one who sets up all the meetings, the one who encourages you all to go on to great things in your speaking career. Can I ask the current VP to come up here and briefly explain their duties?
Hi, Trojans. So my role has two major parts. One is scheduling and second is motivation. I think I have done a fair job of scheduling this year. I want to improvise on that and enhance it for anybody who's coming into that new role, that new manager, that I like to either take up myself or pass on. The second objective of the role is motivating everybody. I think I have told almost everybody of you to ask and schedule your speeches for upcoming meetings, but there is more to do because considering pathways pattern, we have to actually push ourselves to go through the paths quite regularly. So that's the objective that I think we should be taking up for the next year.
So, thank you. Okay. Now, the name I have on my sheet in the GPE is to leadership. Is there anyone else here who would like to run the Vice President of Education, Trojan Speakers for 2019 to 2020? I hereby declare that Tanuj Saluja, Vice President of Education, the next one, which is what I have, because I can't hear this one, and it's not that big. And that is the Vice President of Leadership. Arena, would you like to come up and describe the role, please?
The role of Vice President of Membership is to make sure that our members get the best experience in our club, as well to attract new members and make sure our retention rate is not decreasing and just increasing. Also, as part of my role is to make sure that all our members are registered on EasySpeak and Talkmaster International, so they can get most of our experience. As well, making sure they all in our group, WhatsApp and other communications groups that we have. That's it.
Thank you very much. Sitting guest, very honest. Arena has decided to stand for another year. Can I have a seconder for Arena, please? Thank you, David. Right. After we've just heard, is there anyone here who would like to run to be Vice President of Membership at this club? I hereby declare that Arena Ursa is the Vice President of Membership for this club, the year 2019 to 2020. Okay. The next one is the Vice President of Public Relations. Now, the current incumbent who's in this role is not here tonight, so I will describe what I understand of the role. This might differ somewhat from what we do here. But I do like to make sure we everyone's a critic, aren't they? I mean, they do call me Quasimodo to hit the bell so often, but you don't have to do it here as well. Right, where are we at? Vice President of Public Relations. The VPPR is the mouthpiece of the club. The VPPR meet up, WhatsApp. This is the BPPR's job, to get those people through the door, to spread the word about how wonderful this club is. All right, anything to add to that, David?
Perfectly appropriate description.
Thank you very much. This was nice of you,
Well, I would change it to the most wonderful club.
No, this is not, we've done this.
Well, I was
This is the
just
most wonderful area in the
Well, I
world.
was just trying to sneak it in.
I have my current club presidency behind you, so
I know.
there's going to be a company home. I want to be going home to my house, not the hospital, so. So the current name I have on my list for the Vice President of Public Relations is Cheryl Dempsey. Is there anyone else? Sorry. Can I have a secretary, Michelle, in this one? Thank you. Would anyone else like to run for this role in 2019-2020? I hereby declare that Cheryl Dempster is voted in as the Vice President of Public Relations. We move on to the Secretary's role. Cheryl, would you like to describe the Secretary's role?
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to be handing this over, hopefully, to somebody new. But yeah, I'd like to describe the role of the club secretary. The club secretary is the person who handles the correspondence and administration of the club. So it sounds like quite a dry role, but it's almost like the backbone of the club, so it's quite a serious role. I've nominated somebody to take over from me, and I really hope you support this person or whoever takes over the role. It's dealing with new inquiries to the club, so it's the first point of contact, telephone calls, and any general administration and contact for the club. There you go, I think that's enough.
Okay. I have a name. The name on my list is Colonel Donahue. Do we have a seconder, Colonel? Thank you, Cheryl. We haven't done the secretary in yet. Right. Is there anyone else who would like to stand for secretary's role? Right. I hereby declare that Colonel Donahue is the secretary for Trojans 2019. I do like elections like this, but I don't know. Now, Treasurer. I have the name for your current Treasurer, Mr. Tom Miller. It's not him. Right, okay. I will. This is the role I know this about, so
Would you like me to?
I might learn something, so David,
The Treasurer's role is to look after the money for the club, to prepare a budget, and to make sure that we've got enough money to carry on running our expenses. The Treasurer is also responsible twice a year for sending out friendly chaser emails reminding the members to pay their dues, and for making sure that the dues are then paid on to Toastmasters International. So basically it's looking after all of the money and the finances, and so when I took my executive decision that we were going to spend some money, it was Tom's job to actually pay the money out and get stuff done. When club members have expenses, they submit them to Tom and he repays them. So it's all to do with the money of the club. Thank you.
sir, thank you. Of course, we have the current officer, Tom Miller. Tom is not here. Could I have a second, Tom, just to be official? Thank you. Right. Would anyone else like to to run the Treasurer's role this club for the coming year? Okay, I hereby declare that Tom Miller is voted in as Treasurer of Trojan Speakers 2019-2020. Okay. The next role we come to is Sergeant at Arms. Now I have the name John Osborne, I'm assuming he's not here tonight.
John is unable to be here tonight.
Okay. So Sergeant at Arms, at our club, a Sergeant at Arms, basically looks after all the club equipment, the accounts, looks after all the voting slips, sometimes prints out the agendas, make sure the chairs are laid out, although we have a lot of people to do that at our place. We do rearrange it. That be a fair assessment of the president?
Oh, when's the meeting?
I know it's the meetings as well,
With Gus.
with Gusto. But someone else will be the president, I don't know. So I currently have the name of John Osborne. I have a candidate for Sergeant Osborne, Paula Lewis. Okay, can I have a second? Paula Lewis, please. Thank you, Ditch. Right, would anyone else like to run for the Sergeant at Arms role? Right, I hereby declare that Paula Lewis is voted in as the Sergeant at Arms. Now, I have one more role on my list. Unfortunately, it's not Mr. Meister. You do so well at this place. I love this place, brilliant. And that is the VP of mentoring. Now, mentoring is something very important, especially for people who come into the company and remember someone to help them along through their first few speeches. Although a mentor is not just his first few speeches, it means a mentor can be for life. As I know, because I still have about 3 mentors that I talk to around. This role is now vacant. Would anyone like to take this role on? This is a junior role within the committee, but obviously it is a very important company in the club. So I ask again, would anyone like to volunteer as role VP mentoring? For what? You know what? Bear in mind, this is the first step on you can help a lot of people out doing this job. Okay, last time. Right, we will leave, there will be no video mentoring elected tonight. This will be dealt with at a later time by the committee. That concludes the election process for Trojan Speakers for 2019-2020. I hope you all have a great year and that your club goes on to great success. Thank you.
Can I just ask the members of the new committee to come up here and get a photo? The version that our new VPPR can blast out to the world and it'll go viral. Excellent. Okay, thank you. Right. I won't say anything more now. I'll think things through and I'll update you on my thoughts and plans when we have our next event. But I want to do more than we did this year. And I'll work with the new committee to make sure that we make that happen. But for now, I'd like to hand over to our Toastmaster for the evening, Adam.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adam. I am currently president of Polish Polish in South Kensington. I didn't prepare something funny, but dear Toastmaster, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed. Nobody wants to take this role, committee officers. This is very important role. You should be proud of this remote. When I started my role as a president in Polish, first meeting, we didn't have room. So I was pushed on the deep water. So 20 people coming here, and we don't have room. What can I do? And finally, we find extra very small room in the same building. And all building was occupied because some events, business events, and etc. Another extra meeting. In our meeting, we didn't have room. I wasn't president, but I had speech. And I wanted to really give the speech. So what we can do? We didn't have room again. So me and two girls find in 5 minutes location in the pubs ever. Finally we find in restaurant, Italian restaurant. Downstairs was quiet, and we find the room. Fortunately, we didn't have many members. It was very warm, nice weather, and we find this room. So the role leader is to find something under pressure, where something obstacles. If I haven't had these obstacles, difficult situation, I never learned something. As 1 year as a president, any committee officer is very important, and you can learn something. This is priceless value, benefits, not only for your private life and your career, for the rest of your life. So, if tonight nobody takes this role, you are always welcome next year. So think about this, and yeah, so you can take this and trust me, this is very, very good opportunity. Tonight, actually, yes, so we can start. First, I would like to introduce our timekeeper, Nish. Welcome on the stage, Nish.
Hello, Trojans. I'm your timekeeper for this evening, and I've got this remote. Be wary of it. So, depending on the role you'll be performing here tonight, you will have different time limits to finish your speech. For those of you who do not know how this traffic light system works, if you see this light,
Further.
okay. Yes. If you see the green light, that means you're just about. I'm going to give you a little longer to finish your speech, and then maybe go back to your seat. And if I don't see you finishing any sooner, I'm gonna. Sorry about that.
Might be time for a new remote control.
Give to him.
Okay, my face will turn orange, okay? Which means I'm really angry and I really want you to wind up. If you still don't stop speaking, then I'll go completely red and my head will explode. If you don't hear the sound of explosion, just look around, and if you see the red light, that means it's time for you to stop speaking and proceed. But I'll be kind to you, and I'll make note of everybody's how long everybody takes to deliver their speech. And you'll see me a lot today. Thank you.
And now I would like to introduce on the stage our grammarian, Steve Tyler.
Good evening, everybody. So, for the people that haven't been here before, the role of the grammarian, he's supposed to be a wise man, really, according to French literature, who knows everything about Latin. I know nothing about Latin, I'm not that wise either. But he will be looking for the correct illocutions in the English language. He'll be looking for subtleties, again, within the English language, and good grammatical use of the English language. Also, the role of the grammarian is to have a word of the day, so it was sprung on me, so I haven't printed anything out. The word for the day is tenacious, so I thought it was quite fitting. If you look at the political climate of today, someone's locked in a bunker, pretty tenacious. So this is somebody that doesn't want to ever give up, somebody that is determined to achieve something. Basically, it's somebody that never gives in and keeps on going and going and going until they get the result they want. Thank you very much.
Now we have first speaker, but before when I introduce on the stage first speaker David Horn, I would like to ask first evaluator, which is a great word to tell us about objectives this speech.
Okay, we've got a unique speech by David tonight. It's actually not part of the Toastmasters manual. The best way I could probably describe it with my limited knowledge of it is it's kind of like X Factor in terms of David's going to be participating in a contest soon whereby he's going to be evaluated by a panel as to how good his speech is and whether he can progress to a final and ultimately be paid for the delivery of the speech, whether it's going to be that kind of quality. So in terms of the key lookout for me tonight on David's speech is how well he engages with the audience, and then beyond that, the typical evaluation.
So please welcome on the stage David Horn in the speech The Roof of All Evil. The Roof of All Evil, David Horn.
Before you start the timer, so please pretend you don't know me, because I'm giving this speech to a group of people who I've not met before. So please pretend you don't know me. Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is David Horn, and it's a delight for me to be here. I really feel comfortable here. I feel like I've met my tribe, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here. I wanted to tell you a few things about me. Now, the first thing is that I'm from Canada. So that means this speech is going to be a little short on humour and a little long on detail, because we Canadians like our details. I'm a fairly typical Canadian. I like my details too. One of the other facts about Canadians that you might not be aware of is that we like to have a drink or two as well. Now, I know you Brits enjoy your drink, but we Canadians enjoy it too. I've lived here for 30 years, and I can say that the Canadians enjoy their drink about as much as Brits do. You guys might have a little bit more finesse than we do, only just a little. We like it too. And when I was 17 years old, I found myself one night in a bar. I met my first girlfriend. By day, as a 17-year-old, I had a job in a bank, counting money. And those two experiences from my youth brought me two great things. From the girl, a lot of great memories, but I'm not going to share those with you tonight. And from the bank, a healthy respect for money. The root of all evil. Now, money is not something that tends to be talked about in a positive light, let alone with love. Money is something that causes anguish for a lot of people. Money is the root of all evil. It's something that you can never get enough of. It's something that won't bring you happiness. And I know that in the world today, there are many, many people who truly, truly don't have enough. They don't have money, they don't have food, they don't have shelter. And that's a terrible global problem. Unfortunately, it's one that I can't solve in a short speech like this. But I would like to speak to you about some other aspect of money. And it's something that I find really quite perplexing. most of you have some money. Everyone's got clothes on their backs. I'm hoping everyone has a bit of food in their bellies. I'm hoping everyone has a little bit of money in the bank. Some of you might have a wad of cash. Some of you might have some savings. Some of you might not. But compared with the problems in the world, we're actually quite in a lucky position. And yet, we still have such insecurity around money. I don't know why, but for some reason, events in my life have led to me not having that insecurity. Not because I have any more money than anyone else. Not because I have any better ideas than anyone else. Not because I'm more clever than anyone else. Actually, what happened when I was 19 years old, standing in the vault in that bank, one night I found myself holding in my bare hands 100 grand in cash. And that led to a realization that money is always out there. There is always money. It may not be in your hands right now. It may be something that you're short of at the moment. But in the grander scheme, there is no shortage of money in the world. It's there and it's available. In my career as a CFO of companies both public and private, I've raised over £100 million. I've raised money for companies listed on the stock exchange, tens of millions. I've raised money for entrepreneurs, from a few hundred thousand to a few million. I even helped a lady raise 10 grand through crowdfunding to publish her book. The message I want to get across to you this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is not to be afraid of money. Not to worry, have I got enough? Am I going to lose it? Not to think, it came in last year, what if it doesn't come in this year? But to change your mind, to think about money as a beautiful, bountiful pathway that can lead to your dreams coming true. Now, money doesn't just buy you the car that you want or the clothes that you want to wear. Money can be used to provide education for your children. Money can be used to provide retirement care for your parents. And for me, money's going to help me get to my lifetime goal of living to be 101 years old and celebrating my 80th wedding anniversary with a woman who has brought me more happiness in the world than I can imagine and has made me feel richer than any other person on the planet. A girl I met one night in a bar when I was 17. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, David. Now 1 minute for comments, feedback. So, David, what you like, what you don't like, what David should improve. Don't be shy. Second speaker, tonight we have icebreaker. We love icebreakers. And tonight, first person to give first speech is Amit. Before when I introduce on the stage Amit, I would like to ask Ibrahim, sorry, about...
Yeah, the speech for Ahmed today is an icebreaker. So the objective is to speak in front of the audience, discover the skills you already have, and skills need some attention. It's 4 to 6 minutes.
Please welcome on the stage. We have Amit Jain. Amit Jain, I don't know. Good evening, Toastmasters and Mr. President. First of all, I want to apologize. I already had my speaker speak last time, so I didn't update my topics net, but this is my topic, not my speaker, so I prepared something for today. Okay. So in today's speech, I want to talk about my trip to Scotland in December. In last December we had. So this was an exciting and memorable trip for me and our family, because this was the first time in UK we had a long 5-day trip. Otherwise, when we have a long holidays, we prefer going back to our home in India and then we enjoy there. But this time, it was winter time, we couldn't plan in advance, so this time we thought let's have some long trip in UK here. And we've never been to Scotland, so we were quite excited. Initially, we were a little worried. We were in a dilemma whether we should go or not go, because there was bad weather warnings and rainy weather and all that thing. But finally, we said, okay, let's go. We don't want to stay at home and waste our holidays. So we started a journey on afternoon. We settled on the train, and in 5.5 hours we were in the exciting and lively city of Edinburgh. We get down at Edinburgh city, and from there we took a taxi, and from the taxi dropped us in front of the apartment where we booked our Airbnb. So when we get down, we got our keys. We were excited. We got our keys, and we were excited because it was chilled weather outside, so we wanted to go inside in a cozy, warm apartment, me and my family. So I got the keys, we pulled our bags, and then we started moving towards the flat. We got in front of the door of the flat, then I started putting the keys inside the lock, but suddenly the keys were not turning around. We didn't realize where we are. Are we at the right place or not? I tried many times, but the door was not opening. So what happened? Suddenly I heard some noise, the door opened. I was trying hard. Suddenly the door opened from inside. Somebody came. Hey guys, what are you trying to do? Why are you trying to break into my flat? We were shocked. I was surprised. We were speechless for the time. Okay, this is scary. So I showed him that we have booked a flat. This is our Airbnb apartment number and the booking number. He said, oh, this is building number 5. You are supposed to be building number 4. Okay. Because it was a big block of flats, and the gate at the hallway when we entered, it was saying building 4 and building 5. But inside the hallway when we entered, there was no signs of building 4 or building 5. So we just took the lifts and we went there, and we went into the flat. Okay. So it was embarrassing for us. I was scared he might not call the police, but nothing happened. He was very helpful. Then he guided us about the building number 4. Then finally, going here and there, we could reach the apartment, and we relaxed ourselves into the flat. It was a cozy, comfort flat, very clean flat. And that they ended for the first traveling time. Then next day we started our sightseeing tours in Edinburgh and different places of the Glasgow city. The next day we started with the Glasgow city from Edinburgh, and we had a sightseeing of Glasgow city the whole day. And then it was an exciting trip because we didn't hire any tour or any coaches. We just
explored everything ourselves. We looked out what are the exciting places, beaches, and also, as I said, it was a Christmas winter time. We don't want to go quite far or get stuck somewhere. We got the kids with us, so we just, meanwhile, just looked out something closer by or something which is commutable, and we took out the day. Then we we looked out the wartime museum over there, where the First World War aeroplanes and all those tankers used to be there. It was very exciting and very interesting. Then we went to the peaceful and beautiful countryside of North Berwick, where there was a beach also, and Glasgow city is just like Glasgow University is just like London city. We liked it, and similarly, a lot of exciting places. We went there, and then finally, because it's a very big city, so we couldn't cover everything in those 5 days, but we enjoyed it, and we decided when in the summer we'll be back, we will definitely come back in bright sunny days to see the beautiful Scotland city. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now this 1 minute for Thank you. Now we have third speaker, Tim Bowler. Before when I ask on the stage Tim Bowler, I would like to introduce Sherry Dempster evaluator.
Hi. Tim's going to be speaking from the Competent Communication Manual, Speech 6, Vocal Variety. We'll be watching out for his use of volume, pitch, rate, and quality to reflect and add meaning and interest to his message. We'll be looking for pauses to enhance his message and his use of vocal variety smoothly and naturally. That was him speaking for 5 to 7 minutes, and the title is Hopes, Dreams, and the Glory of Being Ordinary.
Thank you. Please welcome on the stage Tim Bowler in the speech Hopes, Dreams, and the Glory of Being Ordinary. Hopes, Dreams, and the Glory of Being Ordinary. Tim Bowler.
Hello everyone. Hopes, dreams, and the glory of being ordinary. Be amazing! Live the dream. Dare to dream. Now this is going to be a demotivational speech. This is fine. Do it all the time. Follow your dreams. I've got a bit of a problem with this. There are millions of people in the world. And I think, even with my very simple maths, if you thought that there were, for the 0.1 of people, I think it's the wrong way around, 0.1, those people who make it at the top of their game, they're a massive minority, aren't they? Yeah, if you're going to be the next Barack Obama, Ronaldo, George Clooney, Greta Thunberg, that's great. You made it. You're part of a very small percentage. But for the rest of us, sort of false expectation, which I think ultimately leads to disappointment. Now, when I was 19, it seems that 19 is the age, I was playing drums in a band, and we were playing some local gigs, and this bloke came up to us. He said, I've got 25 grand, I'm going to give it to you, and you do some gigs, drive around the country, and you're going to make it, and you're going to get signed by a record company, and you're going to make lots of money, and be rich. And I'm like, yeah, great, that sounds good. So we did that, we played around the country, played in front of a couple thousand people at festivals, played London gigs, Dingwalls at the time, big thing, Mean Fiddler, the Rock Garden, and I remember we had some record company interest. We're like, yeah, this is really good. And I remember the phone call from this record company guy, and he said to me, Tim, we're not going to sign you, I'm sorry. And I was like, well, there'll be other times. But there wasn't. 6 months later, I was working in Waitrose, stacking shelves for 3 days a week. And I was devastated. I wasn't really rich and famous. Now, what I'd done, I learned my lesson. But I also haven't really learned my lesson at all, because I passed on this expectation onto my daughter. And when my daughter was born, we were very pleased because this is my wife had a miscarriage, and so when she was born, we were like, great, we've got a healthy, young, beautiful little girl. We're really pleased, we're really happy, and we're going to call her Chloe because it's a nice name. And then we gave her the middle name Hope, because we thought to ourselves, she's going to bring hope to the world. She's going to be a light in the darkness. And these are very lofty kind of expectations. 5 years on, she enjoys pushing her little brother over. She's only 4 years old, and she's in the bottom group of the reading class. She's annoying, so you get the oh yeah, Danny, for my new room, the loft extension, I want pink curtains. Can I have pink curtains? Yeah, I love pink, that's great. Right, so we'll go to Amazon, get some pink curtains. 6 months later, oh, green curtains now. So who's going to pay for that? Well, you are, Danny. So we've had to lower our expectations. She's not going to change the world. She's not going to be the next Shakespeare. She's not going to play drums in the band. And she's probably not going to be able to reverse climate change. We love her anyway. So how's it come to this? Now you can blame social media, that's the first thing, that's the first scapegoat. But I think social media is just a reflection of what's happening in society. So we're all invited. There's not a day that goes past when I see a thing, oh, you're amazing, live your dream, follow your dreams, everything else. And there's a bit of me just going, hang on a second, you're setting yourself up for fraud. And it's everywhere, because we have all these influencers and everything else. There's a guy out there called PewDiePie. He's got 98 million followers. That's bigger than the population of the UK. There's an 8-year-old called Ryan who tests toys. Gets toys out of a box, and goes, yeah, that's all right, and then put it back in the box. And he's worth 22 million quid. So there you go. So I think it's time to celebrate the ordinary. I think it's time to celebrate the mediocrity, the average. I think when somebody says to you, you're really, really mediocre, I'm like, yeah. Oh, I'm mediocre. You're really average. Oh yeah, I'm really average, thank you very much. You're really ordinary. Yes, I'm really ordinary, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I think it is time to celebrate the mediocre, the ordinary, and the average. Don't you? Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jim. Now, 1 minute comments.
because time. David won 6 minutes 41 seconds, Amit 5 minutes 20 seconds, and 6 minutes 13 seconds. Thank you.
So now you can take a little slice this sheet and you can vote for the best speaker, please. Okay, and now it's time for evaluations. And I would like to invite on the stage first evaluator, which evaluates first speaker David Holmes, Craig Wolf.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Trojans, and welcome guests. Tonight I've got the opportunity to evaluate David's speech, The Root of All Evil. Very much a speech about money, an icebreaker which talks to the journey that David went on, what he learnt along the way, etc. Now, it's a bit of an X-Factor feel to the speech tonight, so I'm going to be a little bit Simon Cowell. I don't think David's going to mind about that, so I'm going to dig in terms of areas of development. But let's kick off with what went really well in that speech. An excellent warm welcome, really drawing the audience in. He even brought the old Brit-Canada angle by looking to make that connection on the whole drinking angle, which I really appreciated. We saw some good mechanics in terms of the power of three. Not because, not because, not because. I've raised, to really emphasise the point that he was trying to make. We saw a couple of personal stories in there. Who can forget when you're 17 years old, working in a bar or at a bar, with a girl, money, and that's where it all began. We also heard about him having £100,000 cash or dollars cash in his hands and what that meant in terms of his journey. But the real message that he was trying to get across is not to be afraid of money. There is no shortage of money in the world. If I look at the recommendations, there are a couple of recommendations for this speech. Is the balance for me. This speech was very much about me. When we talk about money, it's a sensitive topic for some people, an interesting topic for others. I would flip some of the way we're using language in this speech to get the point across to engage the audience. And what I mean by that is, he talked about money can provide education, money can provide X, Y, and Z. As an audience, you're telling us something we already know. Why not, because it's a success David's had, give us 3 secrets of his success? I want to learn from David. I want to say, okay, you've gone from here to here, you've been extremely successful. Tell me how you did it. These are the 3 key takeaways I can take away from my life. You're going to draw the audience in straight away because I'll certainly be listening. So instead of talking about what I did, tell me how you did it and teach me what I can learn from now onwards. The second area is personal stories. We heard of a couple, and personal stories are a great way to engage an audience and make a speech memorable. However, both stories were very short. They were light in terms of its meat. So maybe just go with one story and look to really pull me in with a story that talks to something more than 10, 15 seconds, and then I'll really get the emphasis and I can put myself in David's shoes. I also thought that there was an opportunity within the 17-year-old incident where he went for the funny moment, which I thought was funny, but I think he could play with that a little bit more and just tease us a little bit more in terms of getting that humour in there, because there were a couple of humorous moments in the speech that I think he can just dial up a little bit. Also, lastly, in terms of the recommendation, as we look at the organisational structure of the speech, to make that connection at the start, which I feel was a little bit loose for me in terms of this is what happened when I was 17 years old. It started then. Then we went into the conversation about the speech, and at the end I wasn't quite sure how it all pulled together. I learned the money side, but I wasn't quite sure on the girl side. So money dominated, girl less so. So maybe get rid of the girl, or if you're going to bring the girl in, at least get an even balance there. Overall, a very good speech, great welcome, great introduction, great mechanics. A couple of key work-ons which I don't think David will mind, given the X-factor nature of the speech tonight. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Greg. Now it's time for next evaluator, Ibrahim Mir, who will be evaluated Iceberg.
I'm privileged to evaluate Amin's speech. The icebreaker is the first time to come here and stand in front of the people, and a lot of people find daunting. Even myself sometimes I find daunting. Even now, because I never done evaluating before, I find daunting. So for me, the way I evaluate, he come here and he was enjoying himself and he was relaxing. And the pace of the speech was very, very good speech. So the audience were following where this is going. He tell us the story of going on holiday to Scotland, and he explained the journey from here to Scotland. He also, I heard the audience laugh when he made mistake and opened the wrong door he opened. Audience laughed, so that means audience were flowing very well. The movement also was very good. There's someone who is doing the icebreaker. He was moving it this way, and he explained it, and then he's moving it this way. So that's always very good because it gives you time to think it, and the audience to relax it sometimes. So it's very good. He was moving it up and down, so that was very good. I recommend maybe it was better if he made more eye contact, and also if he made more strongly for the beginning of the speech, and also when he finished the speech to make it emphasize always and make it very strong. But other than that, I thought the speech was very good. Regarding he was doing the icebreaker, I thought he enjoyed the stage very well. I thought he delivered the speech very well. The bass and the projection of the voice also was very good. So overall, I think he done beyond the expectation. He exceeded beyond the expectation. And one of the objectives of the speech is to show the skills you have, and skills need more attention. I thought he showed the skills he have, and I think he can go far for the Toastmaster for the future. He can deliver a lot of very good speeches for the future, and we're looking forward to see him, and I recommend it to the House.
Thank you. Now it's time for first evaluator, Sharon Dempster, who will be evaluating Bowler.
Good evening, Toastmasters, Speaker, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. First of all, I'd just like to say I identified with the Speaker's frustration with, this age of influencers. I've got an 8-year-old who currently aspires to being a baker like her mother and an influencer who opens toys. So on that note, I can really connect. But overall, this speech was to look at voice and vocal variety. So I'm going to break this down into a traditional Toastmasters evaluation. I'll start with a commendation, a recommendation, and a commendation for the speaker. The points I'm going to look at are voice, the volume, pitch, rate, and quality. Also, I'll be looking at the pauses that was used, and then finally looking at the smooth and natural vocal variety that the speaker displayed or may not have displayed, whatever the case may be. So the title of the speech is Hopes, Dreams, and the Glory of Being Ordinary. So to start off with, there's a lot that could be said about the volume, the pitch, the rate, and the quality of the speech. There's just so much there, and I was very impressed. Tim used a bright and varied speech delivery. With the volume, there were crescendos and diminuendos, which, the voice tone went louder and quieter, and he actually moved his body up and down as well to convey that message to the audience, and I think he did very well with that. There were times when the brightness of his voice matched the optimism. So, for example, there was a bright optimism in his voice when he was describing about opportunism, or his optimism after not being selected to get a record contract, even though that was swiftly dashed afterwards with a job in Waitrose stacking shelves. Again, when he spoke about naming his daughter Hope, there was a lot of hope in his voice, and there was an expression of hope for his daughter's future. We then went on to hear some hushed tones that he used while he was explaining about his realisation that he has really high expectations and they're completely dashed. So I thought, the fact that he used the speed and the tone to convey his message was actually really wonderful. So I'd really commend Tim on that. The pauses that he used to convey his message, I think Tim could have actually capitalised on that a little bit more. There were many, many humorous pieces within his speech. I think if he paused a little bit more, it would allow the audience just to connect with that humour, soak it in a little bit more, and he could have appreciated the laughs that the audience were willing to give him. Finally, I'm going to speak about his smooth and natural vocal variety. This is the 6th speech in the Competent Communicator Manual, so he's past the halfway mark, and we can now see that Tim has a really confident, and he's got quite a relaxed, humorous style, and that was actually conveyed in this message as well today, so I'd like to commend him on that. Finally, I'd just like to say well done to the speaker, and just to continue in his path on the Competent Communicator to get that CC award, and very well done. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Cheryl. Now it's time to introduce our lovely guests. So please stand up. Want to see this guest? We have guests? Okay. So very simple questions. You can answer for one of 3 questions. How did you find this meeting, Trojan speakers? Second, would you like to improve public speaking? And third, do you enjoy this meeting so far? Maybe introduce yourself. What's your name?
Hi everyone, I'm Tanya. I moved to London about 3 years back, and I found out about Toastmasters through my brother-in-law, who is in the US, and he raves about how great it is. So yes, I want to develop my public speaking. I do a few presentations, but always behind the desk. I've never actually spoken to a crowd that I don't know, or about a topic that I've never spoken about, so I'm quite intrigued about this. And sorry, who's the last one?
Do you enjoy this meeting?
Yeah, I quite enjoy the stories.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Rahul. I'm Tanya's husband. This is my first Toastmasters experience, and just previously she was mentioning about my brother who tried Toastmasters in California, and he absolutely recommended that. So that's why we are here, just to experience what it is like. And it's been engaging, just to answer your first question. And yes, I would like to improve my public speaking, and it's been quite enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ruth from Riverside. A few of you will have seen me before. I think our president is here. I always love coming to Trojans, and I love Toastmasters in general, but I find this particular club very warm and welcoming, and it's particularly relaxing, just sort of sitting in the audience. So thank you very much.
I'm myself from Riverside, as I said earlier. I'll be Professor of Riverside next year. Now, I'm not going to pick the meaning to Riverside, because me and David will have that battle later on. But what I will say is this. I went to another club in West London a few weeks ago, because I had a night off. And just being here for half a meeting makes me realise how much better that you guys are than they were. It's always a joy to come here, and hopefully I'll be coming back here more times than coming in.
Hello, my name is Ivy, and I'm a visitor today. It's not secrets. And I've been amazed at what you've all done. It's amazing. The stories, the gift that you all have, that we all have, I guess. And I'd like to develop it a bit more slowly but surely. That's all right with you. Thank you.
And also I am a guest, as I said before. I joined 12 years ago in my country, Poland. I joined only 6 months. I gave icebreaker, I was very shy and I left. And I came to the UK. I didn't speak English very well. I hope everyone understands me so far. And I joined Toastmaster Polish or Polish. We had also English meetings, just 4 during the year. And the next one will be 28th of May, this English meeting, so everyone is welcome. And yeah, I am president. I learn a lot. And I was thinking during sitting here that as area director elect, I have very hard job this year. So and education, motivation, inspiration, but hope everything will be okay. If you have any questions to me, any question on the break or after the meeting, always I'm available. And yes, so we finish first part of this meeting, and 10 minutes break.
Register for table topics.
Sorry?
Register for table topics.
Yeah.
Okay.
If anybody is interested in table topics, which is impromptu speaking, please speak to Tanuj on the break. This is your chance as a guest or as a member to come up here and give a speech about a topic that you'll find out about as you come up. It's great fun.